So I was doing some documenting for the battle tool, and came across something really interesting. I was working on documenting event item entries. These are just items that you pick up. You know, this is the event that plays whenever you pick up an item, basically, or you get an item. And I happened to notice that in a certain map, RSH_05, there was an event item entry. Now, what's interesting about this is RSH_05 is the luggage car of the train. And now you might be thinking, okay, it's just the diary. You know, you pick up the diary at some point. That's not what this is. So, here. I'm going to go ahead and highlight. This is what I'm looking at. You have a 142, a 0, a negative 1,000, and a 0. We're not going to worry about the last three numbers. They don't matter here. The first number is an item ID. And then the second is an X coordinate, third is a Y coordinate, fourth is a Z coordinate. So, starting with the coordinates, there's an item stored underneath the map somewhere. Now, this is normal. TTYD does this a lot. Whenever an item gets used for like an event or it's gifted or whatever, or pretty much any time an item gets like used, it's stored underneath the map somewhere and then kind of called up whenever it's needed. But it's the ID I want to draw attention to. 142 is a power punch. Now, I don't know about you, but the last time I checked, there are no power punches in the luggage car of the train. So I talked to Reed a little bit, asking him if he had any ideas. And after digging into it a little bit, it turns out that this is an unused event that never actually gets executed in the base game. It's supposed to be a thing where you interact with an object, like an interactable object that would like do the exclamation point. And then whenever you interact with it, you get the item. Unfortunately, like I said, that item, you can't interact. It doesn't have like the functionality. I think it was like labeled bin 02 or something. I don't remember. Anyways, after messing around with it for a little bit, Reed was actually able to get it semi-working. So I'm going to go ahead and show it off just because I think it's really fun. Unfortunately, as far as tying it to the actual correct object and stuff, that wasn't possible, but he was able to put the event somewhere else so you can at least visibly see it. Here. I don't remember which one I did, so we'll go here. Warps, index. Actually, no, we'll go warps. We're going to go here. H5. So, this, again, normally wouldn't be here in vanilla, but he moved the location. The text is unfortunately broken. Power punch. Okay. So, I'll show it again. You can interact with whatever it would have been a second time, and it would have just given you generic text. Now, Reed managed to find what text was supposed to play here. I think he had to look in the Japanese version of the game, but don't quote me on that. And apparently, it was going to be an object like one of these two cases. Presumably, we're thinking it was going to be this one, just because of the name and like where it was located. But it would have said something like, you found a power punch in between the bottles. You know, because the power punch is kind of like a bottle. And then after you interacted with it a second time, after getting it, it would have just said, oh, these can only be served by the kitchen staff, or something along those lines. That's how he explained it to me. I don't have access to like the text that he found. But, yeah, no, there's just an unused event that would have been like another interactable object that you would have gotten something from. And I think that's really cool. It's a shame it's not actually in the game, because other than like the dresser drawer in the train cabin and like Grubba's drawer, there's not a whole lot of physical objects you interact with other than trees and bushes. So it would have just been cool to have something else that you could click on and do something with.